Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome to Cities Skylines, where we're going to be attempting to fix the traffic in one of your cities. Now this is obviously a series that was very much inspired by Biffa and by Sam Burr. I've mentioned them a couple of times in the previous City Skylines videos because I've seen them doing this with traffic. I will link their channels down below. Do check them out. They make a lot of really good videos on City Skylines. If you haven't already seen them, I would suggest checking them out. But this one was a city sent in by Bremer, and they say, okay, try and fix my traffic. I got the traffic in the west side, which is this side over here with the university. That's all pretty much under control. But the city on the other side over here is, you know, and especially through this area, is not doing so well. And they say it doesn't make a difference no matter what I do. And they said, oh, and I love trams. Winky face. And then they also mentioned which DLCs they have, so I made sure that I'm only using the same DLC that you have, and I'm using the exact same mods that you have. I believe I added a few more road mods, and I will link down below as well all the road mods that I use. I've set up a separate like asset list for road-based and traffic-based mods that I use, which I think most of them you can probably get by without not installing them if you want to download this fixed one afterwards. Anyway, so the main issue I was having a look at is basically we've got this giant industrial area here. So there's obviously a lot of trucks. And actually this industrial area is split in two. So there's a lot of people from this side that try to get to this side. And they have to go through this interchange to get around here. Or they're just trying to get into the highway. Or they're trying to deliver stuff to the city. And it's basically causing everyone to use this whole section here. And the other part is, if you're coming into the city, this is the only highway. This way and that way. Which is fine. But I think on top of that, the problem is, I noticed that every car coming in, if like there's a lot of people that want to go over here because there's a lot of housing over here, and I think what's happening, if you have a look at the traffic, is a lot of cars coming in this way, which are then forced to go through this interchange as well to be able to get over there. So if we have a look, we can actually track the traffic here. We click on this segment of road with the traffic coming in this way. You can see all the cars are coming up this way, turning right, and then actually a lot of them doing U-turns here just to get around and come back to get over this side, which I think it might be better if we set up a junction back here, or even maybe further back there or something, and have a highway sort of come around this side. We don't have a lot of room with the map because you can see we have the border of this map here, so we're going to be working with that. But I think if we either sort of play around with some roads here, add a connection there, and then I kind of just want to rebuild this whole section. I don't know how you feel about me destroying this entire section in your city, but I'll try not to destroy stuff you've built, but like, I don't know, I think we might need to just rebuild this road section, because the other thing I want to do, if we have a look at our traffic, so a lot of traffic going this way, you can see is, actually it's not that much now, it's a lot of residential still. There's a lot of people from this side of the city trying to get to that side as well. I thought it was more industrial traffic, I think there was before, but it's sort of calmed down a little bit. But I think in general, just having a better highway connection, because that's kind of what's happening, is just everyone trying to get to the highway and to the other side of the city is causing that issue. You can see that. Surprisingly though, your traffic flow is actually not that bad. It's still 70%, so we're not at a complete standstill, but it's probably a good point in time to try and fix this. So what I'm going to do is actually just do this, and please don't hate me. I just think clover leaves are probably... they're good to start off with, but they very quickly become overwhelmed with the amount of traffic that has to use them. Alright, now I've also got to be careful because you do have a lot of public transport set up in the city, so I've got to make sure if I'm destroying anything that I'm not completely breaking lines. But you do, yeah, you said you love trams. There's a lot of trams, actually really good. So there's definitely a lot of people using public transport, but it's mostly the cars and that trying to use this area that are struggling. I'm actually going to get rid of this road for now as well. It's a good connection. Likewise, this was as well. But I think I probably want this road here to join up to that road at some point, but we might even adjust the tram line a little bit. And like something like this as well is good, but there's more people preferring to use, well, they were preferring to use a highway before I destroyed it, because it was still quicker than going this way and driving all the way around to get to the other side, so we might have a look into that as well. Alright, so I gotta remember, I normally play in left-hand traffic mode, so I gotta make sure I'm playing in right-hand traffic mode, so hopefully it goes okay. Okay, there's a lot of like U-turny sections through here, and there's all these connections as well. There is a tunnel here as well that goes around there. I think we can probably get away with not having most of this. I mean, I'll leave that there for now just so I remember about it. So this road coming in, I don't think this needs to be a highway. There's a lot of traffic on it, but I think we could probably work with it just being a regular road. So I've actually decided to go ahead and put in this interchange, which is Timbo's Turbine interchange. Turbine is usually one of the fastest four-way directions, like to change between it. Because the problem with the cloverleaf that I was saying earlier is, I don't know if I can just put this down. Oh, actually, there's one over here, which is, they're really simple to build. They're probably one of the simplest four-way interchanges to build, besides just a regular intersection. But the problem is entering traffic enters before the traffic exits. So anyone that you have changing lanes back here to get ready to exit has to interfere with the people entering, so it slows everyone down, because then these guys have to get out of the way of people exiting, then the people exiting have to get in the way of people entering, which is okay at low traffic flows, but as soon as you get anything more than that, it's a nightmare. And then that's where something like a turbine doesn't have that kind of issue, because once I place it, I'll sort of show you. Okay, so the interchange is now fitted in, although we have obviously lost a lot of the sort of highway entrances and exits, which we'll put back in. But I just want to show you how this is more useful than something like a cloverleaf. So if we go back over to this one, while you still have, obviously, the traffic can flow directly through in either direction. I explained the issue of like the entering and exiting before, but on this one, if you want to exit or if you want to turn right, for example, you always leave here first before any traffic enters back in. And you can see this enters at this end. Any traffic entering going in this direction always joins up at this end, so way after anyone's already left. And that's kind of the key factor of what's going to help that flow a lot better for us. Now we just got to figure out where we're going to be able to put the highway entrances and exits for obviously this large industrial area. So it's quite important that we get those in. And I'm thinking I might actually, because you can see I actually changed my mind. This road now goes underneath because it connects to this a lot easier. So I'm thinking I might actually get a large road that comes along the top here. I don't know if we need 6 lanes. I think that might be a bit much, but we're going to use it anyway. I'm going to go directly over this guy. And I'm going to use the move it height trick as well to just make it the same level on both sides. Because I always think it's a bit weird when you have a bridge that's like sloping so far over a thing. Seeing as we've already got a one-way system here, I'll stick with that. I won't change that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use one-way roads. I'm going to use it to connect to... Actually, let's go straight out so I don't destroy that. Can I use it to connect out to this bridge there? And then one that comes back in, but it's going to go the other way to here. In that case, I'm also going to change this down to a 4-lane road, because you can see we've only got 4 lanes on both sides. So it does not need to be a 6-lane road. And now that adds a connection through to this area as well. I don't know if it's going to be super useful, but it does provide another way to get to this area. I don't know if it made things better or worse. You know, it's 70%. It's exactly the same. But you can see the problem with the traffic flow at the moment. I might actually... I don't know that this needs to be one way. I get... So this traffic's coming in here. I don't think many people are actually using these, though. That's the thing. Like, we do have these... almost express routes in to get into the area, but I don't think anyone uses them. Oh, you know what? There's a few people. There are actually people using it. There's a few, but I don't know if it's worth having this whole separate bridge for. So I'm just going to change these. Like, they're not going to be bridges anymore, because I actually want to build a little bit of an interchange on this area. Okay, so I've created this monstrosity. I guess is probably the kind way of putting it. Essentially, it's kind of the same thing as this over here. It is a turbine interchange, but I really had to try and squish it into a much smaller place. And then the idea is that we have this other large avenue that runs along this way that is going to be acting as, I guess, like a mini highway in a sense to allow traffic to get to the highway this way. It's basically a 4-way interchange with hopefully no lanes actually crossing each other. You can see like the middle section here, they can't actually cross over that. So it should hopefully flow decently well, at least this bit now. Then we've got to go back and sort out all of this. And one of the big issues here is, I mean, the cargo station. That's always going to be a problem. And then up over this way. So I think, I mean, that'll probably be a good, strong industrial connection. I think now a lot of the stuff that we got going on is if we have a look at all this traffic, they are looking like they're kind of trying to get to the other side of the city from here, which so this should, yeah, this actually looks pretty good. I'm actually quite surprisingly happier with this than I thought I would, because we got you can see all the trucks are now coming this way to use this road. I did connect it really lazily, I'll be honest. This bit here, not great. Really, really poorly done. Because we have... Actually, all of this, we probably need to change. And I can see you've actually emptied out this dump. So I'm actually going to remove this, because I think you were in the process of doing that anyway. And it looks like, hopefully the reason you did it is so you can have this road go straight along, because it looks like that's kind of what you were trying to do. So I'm actually just going to do that, because when you have these tiny intersections, you can see all the traffic has to slow down for like almost no reason. Now, I was going to say, I don't think there's any stops there. No, it's either side. Okay. So we can probably just delete that, and delete that, and then just join these roads up like normal. That was a one-way road that I built. And then that just looks like a normal road that's going over to this thing, which is over here for some reason. Actually, that road doesn't actually go anywhere. I don't know if there was something down here before. I mean, I'll leave the road connected, but I don't think anyone's using it. I won't bother rezoning that. I'll leave that for you. So anyway, so that will allow... oh, whoops, that's not a one-way road. Sorry, my bad. That should be the one-way section there. So this is one way in. I might actually just also elevate that section just so it looks like one continuous road. It's a little nicer. And I'll also say that they cannot change lanes here by pressing the little lane connector and Shift S on that point. So then they, get in the lane they want. Anyway, so that should help that little section at least flow inward a little bit better. But that doesn't address like all the other issues we're going on here. Oh yeah, so seeing as now I've basically just made this, well, this road's clearly useless. There's a few people using it. It's definitely, yeah, pedestrian, like vehicle traffic. I think I'm going to get rid of these just because I don't think there's any need for them. I'll leave like some, like I'll just leave that connection here because that's already there. I'll just get rid of this additional part. I don't know. I just think it looks neater, especially if we don't have that. Like it just looks nicer. I'm just going to say that. I don't think this roundabout is doing us any favors because I was just tracking because obviously we have a lot of traffic going through this whole area. I mean, look at these trams. These trams are just backed up. And look, this is partly my fault because we've been fixing this area and it's sort of affected the other areas by changing all this stuff. And that's just, that's just how things work. It's a little domino effect. In fact, we're still at 70%. You can see all the traffic's over here now. And I think... honestly, a large cause of it seems to be this roundabout because what's happening is because there is so much traffic coming in, which actually, you know what, we need to fix this. This is no good. Hold up. The way they're changing lanes here. We have so much traffic on this roundabout that these guys are never getting in, and it's basically blocking everything up because they can't get anywhere. Now, this is not something that I would probably normally do. Putting traffic lights on around. You know what? Actually, you know what? Hang on. Turn them off there. Put them here. Normally a really poor idea, but it can actually work. And it is something that happens in real life. Okay, this is not good either. Hang on, what's going on here? I'm going to turn off them entering the intersection as well. Because that, if they enter before, like, and not leave it clear, it can block everyone up. Yeah, so when the thing is, roundabouts are really good to a certain point, and then they get overwhelmed. Okay, this is probably not a good place to have merging traffic. They get overwhelmed if there's too much traffic on them. And I'm pretty sure we're at that point. We don't actually have that much traffic coming this way. At the moment, it's mostly where are most of these guys coming in and going? A lot of them, most of it is going forward and right. I'm wondering if we even really need, I mean, we probably do. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. And you can see there's already no traffic here anymore. I mean, there is, but like it's working a little bit better. So it might look a little strange at first, but basically we had most of our traffic wanting to come off the highway this way, and then they'd sort of come in this area or go straight ahead. So I decided to make a sort of custom intersection, not like a highway intersection, but just a ground one with timed traffic lights that allowed this as well. There's obviously a lot of traffic that wants to go left for the industrial section 2. So, whoa, that was going fast. So basically, main road sort of comes down to the right here. If we have a look at all the lane stuff, I can kind of explain it. So it gets confusing. But basically, the guys coming from this direction can either go to the right, to the left, or forward. So they can go all three directions. So if we rotate around, so this road coming in this way, these guys can only go one direction. They can only go straight ahead, straight onto the highway. They can't go anywhere else because there's no need for them to turn right. Because if they're going to go right, they might as well just stay on this section, come down this way because that's where it goes. So I was like, forget it. Let's not allow them to go that way. To go straight ahead, I figured it'd be better not to cut in front of traffic turning right here, or like blocking these guys to turn right. So instead what we do is I've added this little lane that comes off the side. There's no traffic lights here. It's one way. They have to give way to this traffic. These guys don't block the intersection. So once they can go through, and it happens quite often because of the traffic lights, I'll stop and then they'll be able to flow straight on through. And then there's no traffic lights here and they flow directly on here. They can't turn left there. They can only go that way. So basically it's just a way for this side to kind of get through a little bit quicker than going down and around. That's kind of how that works. Then from this direction, if you're coming up, we use the asymmetrical road because there's less traffic going this way. There's still quite a bit, but it's clearing out pretty well. These guys, again, cannot go anywhere else except straight ahead because if you look at it, the guys coming from down here, if they want to go right, they can go this way, this way. If they want to go left, they can go anywhere through here. So there's no need for them from this intersection to turn left or right. So we just forgot about that. We do allow them to turn right here, though, to be fair. Because, I mean, why not? It's just a slip road that's very easy to go through. That's what they do. And then people come from this way. Again, there's actually no way that they can turn left here because, I mean, if you're coming from this way, just go down the bottom and go along that road because just stay away from that because that was backing up this whole section through here. It is much better through here now. It's obviously still some issues through back up this way, all the way back up to the industrial area, but it's getting there. I mean, it's getting better, I think. This whole, like, it's hard without, you know, kind of leveling the area to... to get it to work a little bit better, but it's sort of getting there. I don't know whether I've really made a huge difference. I mean, we're up to 74%, and I think at the very least, I think I've given some ideas of how to approach things in different ways, which I think is good. We are getting quite busy through here, through the industrial areas will always be pretty difficult. I think one tip I'd give on those is probably don't make them this big, because having this much very centralized can just all the traffic. Like if you had this little section, well, this section like over here or something like that, and then maybe half of this section still here and the other half somewhere else, it really does help with this sort of distribution of traffic. I think the other main problems we have is if we're looking at stuff like this, because there are no traffic lights here. Like traffic lights, I think some people think of them as things that, you know, slow stuff down, that make things not work, which in City Skylines can be very true if there's too much traffic. And don't get me wrong, they can be a nightmare. Like this would not work, and it wasn't working until I did timed traffic lights, which are not for everyone. So if you don't know what that is, because I brushed over it, the timed traffic lights, you click on this and you set up exactly which lights go exactly at what time. So basically what it allows me to do is these cars coming through now are not going to get stopped by any cross traffic, and that's essentially how it works. So normally you'd have these guys turning right and this traffic also going forward, so it would all slow down. The default sort of traffic light behavior in the game is pretty bad. So that's why they typically don't work very well. Oh, look at this! Congratulations! You've reached the Megalopolis. And I actually think that's what's happening right now. There's a lot of cars coming in, like a lot of pedestrian cars. I think there's people moving in again. So I think that's what's happening. We could even do we could probably do a slip lane here, just coming off to this section. I don't know if it's a good idea because there's already a lot of like road changes here, but it might work. So I'll let that go there. It might cause more issues than it solves, but we'll see. I'm going to actually upgrade this road over here into this road that we've already got over there, because I mean, you already had this idea. So I'm going to go through and just upgrade this to a larger road. I mean, I probably would have preferred building it closer to the to the shoreline, but I think this will be fine. So we're going to do this. I don't know that we need this bit because it's pretty close to where it is anyway. I'm just going to do that, have that go directly in like that. So then what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to change this connection here. I'm going to continue it on from this road. So we'll set the speed limit on all this road to 70 again. So it goes 70 all the way along and provides a way, basically because there's just a lot of people from here. Like I said, I've said before, trying to get to the other side of the city. And we still want a connection to this industrial area. So we're still going to do that. I'm wondering if we can just do that. They can actually only go one way here. So let's try doing give way. That might be a really bad idea. Yeah, it totally is. Let's get rid of the give way. That's a bad idea. Might do some traffic lights instead. Maybe get rid of these ones, and what we'll do here is we'll say, and we'll give them a dedicated turning lane so anyone trying to go straight doesn't end up in that lane. Oh, and we don't want traffic lights here. I don't know why those are there. Okay, this is not working. I'm going to get rid of this road here. We'll keep the road, but it won't go all the way through. It's just because the section there is way too small to fit that in terms of like the intersection size. So I'm going to have this to come nearly to the same spot. So we'll still have the zoning in that, but it just won't go all the way. Then this road, I think, should probably go through a little further to like here. So it will destroy a couple of the factories there, but it should probably go through. So one of the big things that I also notice around this place is like with all these roads that are obviously being used quite a lot, is they'll come straight along and then the road doesn't continue through. Like they go here, then they have to turn left or they have to turn right. So it's like sort of forcing them to go around a corner and get to the other place that way. So you can see like you've got this main road here and even this main road here, which they sort of join into this area. But then to get through here to this road, which was obviously quite heavily trafficked anyway, it's not ideal. So I'm thinking what I might do connect, instead of having this go straight on, I'm going to connect to this road here, like directly, so they don't have to go around a small corner. So I'm just going to have to shift the subway tunnel. Okay, so I think we are getting somewhere. This looks a lot better now. This is flowing a lot better. I gave them a dedicated left-hand lane here as well, because there's a lot of people trying to go that way that were blocking people just going forward, so they're gone now too. I think it's definitely looking better. These guys, we seem to be having a sort of similar issue, so I'm actually going to say get rid of traffic lights here, and then what we'll do, we'll say there's a dedicated left-hand lane. We probably could add more lane. I mean, I don't think we need to. I don't think there's any point. I don't think these guys need to turn left. There's literally no point for them to do that, because if you want to go the other way, just come out that side. No left-hand turns there, so they don't cut in front. So basically, then these guys turning left have priority. They can also go forward, so that should hopefully get that flow out a little bit better. There's just so much industrial, because there's big one-way roads. I was considering just like putting the road directly through the middle, but I don't even know if that would help. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt, but I don't know how much it would actually help. Let's try it. Okay, so then we essentially have a setup where there's traffic lights here, but not on these two, and these guys can only turn right from these intersections. And then I'm going to allow on these ones for traffic to flow through. I am under the impression that this section really does need traffic lights, because everyone is just going at once and they're all blocking each other, and it's really just not letting traffic flow. Apart from the default game traffic lights being dumb all the time, something I like to do is specify, depending on where traffic's flowing, sometimes there's a lot going in a couple of directions. So I actually turned off going forward in this left-hand lane, because it means that there's always a dedicated left-hand lane there, and that means that this traffic can actually end up using more lanes. Because the problem is here, like, everyone's using one lane, but that doesn't mean they're all going the same direction. You can see some of these guys are going left. So then in that case, the way we can get them to use more lanes, and thus, you know, not line up in one single line, is just say turn off left-hand turns in that lane, because there's not a lot of people turning right, so they can share that lane anyway. It means that everyone going forward will jump into the right-hand lane, along with the people turning right, which will be fine. And everyone that wants to go left will, you know, use their own lane and not get in the way of everybody else. And I'll also say, no lane switching back here. Oh, you've got some lane switching here. I'm going to get rid of that. That's going to go away. Oh, wait, no, that... Oh, okay. No. That's actually the default, because that's technically a tram lane. But anyway, whatever. We're going to say no lane switching through this section. I was wondering what all the traffic over here was, and then I realized it's literally just the trams. All the cars are getting stuck behind the trams. I would probably recommend, there's like a tram road on the workshop that is still a road of this size, but it basically, I think it removes the parking lane. So then traffic drives in the parking lanes and trams don't. So then trams are always on their own sort of separate bit of road, and it means that we won't get all this traffic stuck here, because this is all like backed up, but it's all because of the trams. Like, because I was like, oh, I wonder if there's like a little intersection or something going on here, but no, it's actually just because they're stuck behind all the trams stopping constantly. It's a bit of a shame, but I guess I won't touch that. Now the thing is, I've been doing so much, and we've gotten worse, and I was like, what is the deal with that? Because I've been working around up here. This is looking better. I did this, which, I mean, actually works quite well. It's not the best. Like, I think you get the idea of it if I explain it. Instead of doing a roundabout, again, it was the thing of the roundabout just being not really useful with that amount of traffic in it. Or at least in my opinion. Maybe it could be, but it just didn't seem to be working too well. So instead of just having two of these avenues going directly into one intersection, I actually split it into two. So it sort of splits into one way there and then goes through, and one way there goes through. So it's two separate ones. Now, I didn't do any timed lights here, but if you actually set these up as two timed traffic lights, and you could get the flow really well, but it actually seemed to be pretty good. Like, there's still a bit of traffic here, but it's actually not too bad. I mean, what's annoying me more is these people changing lanes there. Can you, like, not do that? Okay, so we're finally kind of coming back to where we started with the traffic flow, so it's good. Hey, here's the thing, though. Like, it's basically everything that I've changed has sort of addressed the issues in the specific spot. It kind of just pushed the issues elsewhere. Also, we're having another death wave, so that's happened again. Yeah, but so I've actually resorted to downloading a new asset. So if you do want to load this up again, you're going to need to grab this road here, the 2-lane road with dedicated tram, because basically what this does as what I was saying before, it puts the trams in the middle, traffic on the side, because the problem is all your cars were stuck behind trams, and because you have so many trams, it was becoming a really big issue, especially all through here. Because as soon as we had sort of sorted out all the traffic through this area, it all just got pushed, like all the cars were able to get where they were going, which was in here, and then they all just got stuck behind there, and I'm hoping that this will start clearing up now. The other thing that I noticed that has actually been causing a lot of issues, the sort of allowing the entry into intersections when there's already cars there, because you can see it actually sort of starts blocking them all up. In some cases it can be really, really useful, and it's actually a really good thing to have, but a lot of the time blocking up these intersections so these cars can't ever get onto them is actually probably hurting us more than it's helping us. So I'm actually going to turn most of these off. Also just realized that I totally forgot to do a highway connection at this side of the city. So I only just did that. I just did it really quick. It's obviously pretty messy. We have an entrance and exit here, and then same on this side. Just splitting it up between the two roads actually should help us out a bit, because I noticed everyone was like driving all the way down here, coming through this interchange, exiting and going straight through here, and then coming up instead of just, you know, going here. Okay, we're at like an all-time high of 77%. And 76. It's sort of going between those two right now. Oh, 74. We're going down. It's going all right. Like, I think the main issue is well, the main issue we got left anyway. We've addressed a lot of them in the past already. But there's like these main roads that I've mostly connected up. I think because they weren't really connected up before. But a lot of them, like even this one over here, this avenue is not connected to another one. There's a lot of large roads that seemingly go nowhere, and then force the people to start using smaller roads, or they have to do these sort of dogleg turns everywhere. Like I added in this connection here for that road. This one I added in as well. This one was already there. You had that one, but I added this one in just because it was more direct, and I was able to do some highway connections. Then obviously we added this one down the side as well, which you can see it is being heavily used. So it's actually working really, really well. It's actually getting the traffic where it needs to go. I did actually end up removing this road out here because there wasn't much point. There wasn't many people using this road anyway, so I decided to just redirect the traffic in there because it just also looks a little bit neater having it there. And it's actually working quite well. So that works well. It means we don't need this anymore. We're dropping back down to 73. It's mostly, so what's left is mostly the industrial traffic. And then like the rest of the city, it's like showing red and orange, but like if you actually look at these areas, like they're not actually backed up or anything. There's like no real huge problem areas, at least I don't think, except for this, okay, except for this bit here, which I'll have a look at in a second. But for the most part, most of the red areas are actually not traffic. This is like trams, I think, is mostly what's on this road. There's like so many trams. You weren't kidding about that. When you were like, I love trams, no kidding. There's a lot. But the rest of the areas, like that's all good. And then, yeah, so industrial traffic and then pretty much this bit. And then that's it, really. Now it's really sort of cleared up way more so than it's ever been before, which is pretty exciting because I've been working on this a long time. Like a long time. Okay, I just did like a little bit of lane management here. That actually already seems better. They actually already seem to be going where they should be. And I've done some sort of, I think there's one lane each direction here for the most. Oh, that one still goes forward. I might actually take that off because them going forward in that lane I don't think helps anyone. Because there's a lot of people that are turning right there, but also a lot of people going forward. So, you know what? I might actually just chuck in a little slip lane there. It looks a little messy, but if we get everything set up properly, it should work. Oh, yeah, this is an issue. These on every intersection are really, really bad. And I've already mentioned that, and I explained why. Because it just causes all this traffic to block everything up. Oh, this is a tram road. This road needs to be this road, because this is the one that allows traffic to also go on the road without getting stuck behind trams, which is seeming to be, I don't know, oh yeah, that's fine. Seeming to be a really big issue in a lot of places is that, is that traffic is just getting stuck with the trams. Okay, this seems to be flowing a little bit better now. There's no lineup of traffic either side there. We still have a bit coming down this way, but that's always busy. This is always busy because that's industrial. There's always a lot of people going here and turning left. I think it's because they're going down through here to get to that road, which is always annoying because, I mean, there's not much I can do about that. I mean, there is, but like, it's not, it's just it's a strange setup because they're sort of going this way to get through to that side when they could just use this road, but they don't. We could disallow trucks going that way, but I mean, it's not a huge deal. And it's probably beneficial a lot of the time that they actually go that way. But if all they're trying to do is get to the other side, it might be beneficial to try and just do a road. Maybe we can get one in here. Just do something like that. It's pretty ugly, but I mean, it does. I really can't understand why they decide to go all the way around. Because they can go here and turn left and come down. It's not like I'm accidentally forcing them to go out that way, unless there's some weird lane stuff going on. No, there isn't. They can definitely turn left. I don't know why they're not. Okay, so we've got a little U-turn segment there now. So it's like maybe I don't know, they're seeming to have to do that for some reason. Okay, there's oh yeah, you know what? It's totally those trucks coming out of there. They couldn't I don't think they could change lanes soon enough to get there. So then okay, so now those guys go that way. In which case it might also be beneficial just to have a section of road here for those guys from the cargo train station. And maybe just, I guess I'll leave that. It's a weird junction there, but it means, it's all these trucks coming out of there. They'll come around here, and then hopefully they'll just go this way. And then that'll allow them to go that way and stay away from this area, which should hopefully help us out. And let's have a look. We're still somehow only at 72. It's honestly like, it's like swatting bloody flies. Like, you think you got it, and then, whoop, there it is again. Dude, these trams are driving me nuts. They're literally just blocking traffic all of the time. Like, I just put this road in here because this main road up here obviously has a lot of trams on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, look how many trams are all just here. I was like, okay, what if I just give them a way to just get around that? Because they're basically going up this way, then going left, up that way. I was like, okay, cool. It worked for about 30 seconds until they all get stuck here with all the... because they just keep blocking the intersections, man. It's so annoying. The good news is most of this top area is looking actually pretty good now. Like, there's not really any issues that I can see in this whole top half of the city. Basically, we got industrial guff as per usual, this whole area. The thing is, the roads surrounding the industrial area are actually good. It's just in the middle with this whole like system of roads, and then down the bottom I'm not quite sure why it goes from a small road to a large road then back to a small road. I don't really know why that happens, but it does. There's just so much industrial traffic in this area because of the the cargo station. It's so bad. I've done my best though, and I don't think it's the worst anymore. It's kind of silly what I did. So I removed this main road that I put it in anyway. I took it out and then just done a small bridge here that skips over that road. So any traffic going straight on still can without getting stuck as much. And then for the rest of it, it's actually a really big one-way system, which I really hate doing this kind of thing. Because I just think it's, I don't know, I think it's not the best. I mean, it's working though, and I did some timed traffic lights here to let a lot of this flow through. It's pretty much the best I could get it without, I guess, ripping that out and changing it, because there's not much I can do within the space that's already there. I mean, what I would probably do is what I mentioned earlier, is just not have that much industrial there. But I think we're actually at the point where we can get as good as we can with traffic without, removing trams, because a lot of this is just trams backed up. They're all the way back here. I don't know how useful they are, but they're all getting stuck on this little tram about thing. All this traffic's good. All this is good. Like, there's some like red here and there, but it's actually not that bad. It's actually flowing pretty well. Like, I'm pretty happy with this. Like, overall, I think it came out pretty well. There's no, like, really bad tailbacks anywhere in the city anymore. The only place that there is this section right here. So, feel free to tackle that yourselves at the link in the description below with the save on the Steam Workshop. You can also download the original as well if you want to check that out. But I think that'll do. Like, it's pretty good. I would just, suggest not doing so much industrial in one spot. I am not a huge fan of roundabouts in areas that have lots of traffic, because I don't think they work that well. At least in City Skylines, they don't. I think they work well in small areas with low traffic, mostly for Like, it'd be good, I think, on this road. I reckon this road would probably work with it, because it's like, there's quite a bit of traffic using it, but it's not massive. Whereas, if we were to put one here, back here again. Actually, no, this had a cloverleaf. But if we were to put one here with this sort of highway and all that, I don't think that'd be a good idea. I think that'll do. I don't know if this is the best. It's all pretty heavy traffic, but it's all moving except for this. So just don't look at that bit. The rest is pretty good. The subway network is pretty good. I think the trams might just need to be a few less. There's actually you got a lot of people. Yeah, there's 2 people and there's 0. You might need to reduce the number of trams that you have. Like, some of them are doing really well. Like, some of them you can see that, but I think there's just too many. Also, yeah, there's a lot of people walking in the city, which is really good. Like, loads of people walking. So you can even, if you want to, look at where people are going. If we turn off everything here, if we go like this, even maybe cyclists as well. So if you click on that, you can see there's a lot of people walking from here and all the way up here, actually crossing this bridge to get to these areas. So that means they don't have an adequate public transport system from that area to wherever they're going. So you could put some sort of, you could even do, because you got subway lines already going up there, but it looks like they need one sort of along this section, like through here and around. Because these sort of come down there. Or the other thing I noticed actually with the subways is the stops are actually pretty far apart. With subways, you want them a bit closer. Because you got one here, one there, and then this huge section with nothing. The blue doesn't stop till down there. So you need probably one in the middle would be good. And probably more up here as well. But other than that, pretty good. I think that'll conclude this epic, thrilling episode of failing to fix this traffic. But the rest of the traffic's pretty good. We did this thing. That was cool. I like this. All right. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to leave your cities as well for me to check out and try and fix some traffic on them, just leave a link down below to the Steam Workshop. It will be marked as a spam comment, but it won't actually be spam because I'll still be able to see it, but it just won't appear in the comments. So don't worry if it doesn't appear, but I will be able to see it. That is how I found this one. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and have an awesome day.